Welcome to Forum Marketing Secrets. In this video series, I will take you through everything you need to know to successfully market on forums. Let's go ahead and get started by talking about what forum marketing is. Essentially, forum marketing is the process of finding relevant forums and establishing a profile as an expert with the intention of marketing a product or service. So what does this mean? Well, basically it means going out there and finding a forum. A forum is a place where like-minded individuals go to hang out and talk about things they enjoy. For example, let me go ahead and when I say forum, some people refer to them as bulletin boards, online groups, things like that. I'm just going to go to Google and type in dog forum. I want you to see that there are tons of forums just based on dogs. Let's go ahead and take a look at one. So let's say, for example, that you are a dog trainer and you have a product that you want to promote for dog training, or you're an affiliate marketer and you're promoting a dog training product. This is a place where, let me show you, there are 31,000 members just about. That is incredible. That is a lot of people that love dogs, and they're all located here talking about their dogs, and you just go in here and you start participating in the forum. And it's kind of like if you were to walk into a conference that was everything about dogs, and you were able to slip in and promote yourself. It's incredible because it's a huge targeted audience. And that's essentially what a forum marketing is. You're going into this group where all these people are, and then participating in the forum, not just coming in and selling hard. You're coming in, establishing yourself as an expert. You know what you're doing, and then people will look to buy from you. So it's a great way to break into a market. This video series will go into detail, show you everything from how to find the forums, how to market on the forums, how to establish relationships, how to create a signature, and how to take things forward. So I look forward to sharing these things over the space of these videos. There's also a book that came along with the videos to help support what we talk about, so please refer to both as we move forward. Let's go ahead and get started. Why forum marketing is awesome. In case you can't tell, I love forum marketing. I've used it personally to grow my business and has worked out really, really well. So before we move forward, I would like to cover a few basic reasons why forum marketing works so well and why you should be using it. There are forums for just about everything. One thing you might be saying to yourself is, oh, there isn't a forum on such and such. Well, you got to go out there and look, because believe me, the internet is such a vast place. There seems to be forums for just about everything. And even if there isn't something specific to what you're looking to sell, there's probably somewhere where those types of people would be that you could go to market just the same. Forums can be laser targeted to the niche that you're promoting. Think about things. For example, if you were going to promote a product and you ran an ad in the local newspaper, sure, hopefully some dog lovers, would see your product if you were, promoting a dog training product. However, with a forum, the only thing it's about is dog training. So it's very, very laser targeted. The people that are in there, are there because they love talking about dogs. In fact, they're not. Sometimes people get magazines in the mail. They might not even be paying for them. But this situation, these people seek the forums out themselves because they want to be talking about it. So these are people they're not just dog owners and dog fans, but they're dedicated enough that they want to be sharing things online actively. So it's such a hot spot and such a valuable place that you can really tap in to these people with their interest groups. It often contains people that are very passionate on the subject, as I started talking about. I think there's two kinds of dog owners out there to continue to go on with that example. Some people have dogs and they like them, but then some people are fanatical about it, and they dress them up in clothes, and they love to talk to other dog owners, and they just really love their pet and love talking about dogs in general. And these are the kinds of people that are going to be on the forums. You're not going to find people on the forum, usually, hopefully, that don't like dogs. They're there because they are really, really into it, and that's usually the case on forums. So it's kind of like finding the cream of the crop of that niche. It gives you an opportunity to establish a presence as an expert. I know that a lot of people viewing this are probably just starting out, and some of you are more experienced as well. Regardless, it's a great way to go out and go from nobody knowing you to a whole bunch of people knowing you, because you go on the forum, and all you need to do is, we'll talk about the specific steps, but you just need to go out there and start introducing who you are and showing that you know a lot about the subject. And then what will happen is people will view you as an expert. And I don't know about you, but whenever I go to buy something, I would much rather buy it from an expert. Like if you're going to see a movie and you look in the paper to see what the local critic thought, and if you if you value that person's opinion, then it's going to influence you as well. So when people go to buy something, they're going to turn to the expert, and that's exactly what you can present yourself to be on these forums. They give you a platform to do just that. It allows forming partnerships and joint ventures. What will happen is, you go into these forums, and oftentimes you'll find other people promoting things as well. And what you can do is you can form a partnership with these people, a friendship, and then participate in a joint venture with them. So, for example, say that you go on to a dog training forum, and there's someone on there that's marketing dog food, and of course, you're doing the dog training. You could then partner with that person, and through the forum, get to know them, and be able to have a business deal out of that. It's also a great place to get feedback regarding your niche or market. So, for example, let's say that that you want to do something with cats, but you're not sure exactly what. Well, you can go into the forum and ask people. People love to answer questions and say, hey, listen, what do you think is missing in this market? What type of product would you like to buy that doesn't exist? It's a great way to do product research and also to understand, what's working. If there is a marketplace or ads, this is a great way to find out what is being sold to this niche. So this is another thing. You can go in there and see what other people are already doing, because it can kind of give you an idea of what already is working for people, because people are already carrying forward with it. What can you be promoting with forum marketing? So you picked up this guide and you're saying, sure, forum marketing sounds like something that I can do, but I really don't understand what I can be selling on forums. What in the world? People are going to forums to hang out. They're not going to want to buy anything. What types of things can you promote on a forum? And well, the answer to that is many things. You can promote your own business. Say for example, and I know that people that are viewing this video series are going to be coming from different perspectives on what they want to do with forum marketing. So we're going to talk about all of them, and maybe it's what you bought it for, maybe it will give you ideas of other things that you could do. So of course, one thing is, if you have your own business, let's say that you are a dog trainer, then absolutely you should be involved in these forums, because it's going to be a great way to get the word out about who you are and what you do. You can promote your own products. Perhaps that you are an internet marketer and you have lots of different products, and you can go through and find out which ones have active forums and would be good places for you to kind of jump in there and be giving more exposure to your products. You can create branding for your business. This is another thing. Sometimes companies, they're out there and people don't really understand a lot about them. But if you go into a place where your target market is going to be and establish a presence on there, or pay someone else to do it for you, it's a great way to get the word out about your business and what you do. Even if you certainly don't need to be aggressive about promoting a product. You're just out there being helpful. People are going to identify your business with the whole helpful intent, which is a good thing. You can promote affiliate products such as ClickBank. Those of you that are newer to internet marketing and just looking to promote something in general, ClickBank is an incredible place. Let me just go ahead and show you. If you go to clickbank.com, you can just browse all the incredible things that they have. I'm going to go ahead and click on Marketplace and find products. So let's say that I want to work with something with cats. I'm going to type in cat under the search. You can see here's a product on how to take care of your pregnant cat. It's very specific. Cat care secrets. Okay, all different kinds of things. Let's say that instead you want to do something on safety. Okay, so you can see there's safety books. Or let's say how about baby safety. Okay, look at this. Here's information. Here's products about nursery decorating, sign language for babies. I see commercials for that all the time on the TV. Safety ebooks and reports. The point I'm trying to make is that ClickBank is a digital supplier of lots and lots of products that you can sign up. It doesn't cost anything, and be an affiliate within moments. Commission Junction is another big one. They allow you to be an affiliate of many physical products. CJ.com, Commission Junction. Now you do have to, the process to get approved as affiliate is a bit more involved, but you can promote tons and tons of things on there. So the point I'm trying to make is that you can find just about anything on there. Let's say, for example, that you want to do exercise equipment. I'm going to just type in Google exercise equipment and then the word affiliate next to it. And you can see here, okay, look, fitness affiliate dropship program for exercise equipment. Oops, I spelled affiliate wrong. It doesn't make me look very good as a presenter, does it? You can see here there's a lot of other options as well. So the point is there's affiliate programs for just about anything out there. And likewise, you can promote just about anything you can imagine on a forum. You can also build a list and promote it later. You could establish a presence on a forum, and rather than promoting something, you could offer a free book. This is something that I did with great success. I created a free piece of software that I gave away, and lots of people signed up for it because people love free. And if you position it in that you're going to a forum where people have a need for something and you're giving away for free in exchange for people signing up with their email address, you're going to have a good deal of success. And so to summarize it, you can promote just about anything on forums. The important thing is going to be finding something that's a good match. And of course, as you begin to build your presence up, you can promote different things and see what works and what doesn't work. But we'll talk about all that as we move forward. Finding the best forums for your market. Okay, in this video and also the next video, we're going to talk about looking to see what's already out there in your market and then picking the best ones to get involved with. I'm not going to suggest that you go out there and sign up for 20 forums today and then try to drive yourself crazy establishing a presence on all of them. I've done particularly well personally by investing a lot of time into just one or two forums, but it took me some time to figure out the right forums to be spending my time in. So let's say, for example, that you are selling a dog training product. So I'm going to go to Google and type in dog forums and see what comes up. I'm going to go, you can see there's a lot here. You can go to each one here and kind of check it out. What you can do is you can write it down. Then you take note of these because we're going to be comparing these forums and try to find which ones are going to be the ones that are worthwhile to us. One thing I like to look at is to see how many members there are. This one has 3,000 members. It's a lot of people. Another thing we want to look at is to see how active these forums are. Some forums show you more than others. This one here you can see, for example, shows you how many people are currently viewing the different threads, and this is good because it kind of tells you where to spend your time as well. This is neat because this one has a specific section for reviewing dog products. So obviously you could go in there and review your own product or let people know about your own product if the forum's cool with that. You can see that there's only one person here, but there's 10 right here in dog chat. So let's see how active this thread has been. Okay, you can see that I'm going to look at a couple different things here. Here's a post. Well, women should choose a dog over a man. Yikes. Okay, blind dog advice. Okay, that's a fair question. You can see here that this particular thread, and by the way, when I talk about forums, every time there's a new subject, I call that a thread. That's what most people call it. You can see that this thread has been replied to 5 times, and it's been viewed over 100 times. So that tells us that a lot of people are taking the time to read it. Eating from the table, that's a good one. That's a certainly can be a problem with dogs, and how do you handle that? So I can understand people getting involved in that type of conversation. So this forum looks pretty decent. Let's go ahead and take a look at another one I had showed you before, dogforums.com. I like using Google to search because Google is the most popular search engine, so therefore the most people are going to be finding their forums this way. So it makes sense that we would look at the ones that are at the top because a lot of people are going to be finding it this way. So a few things to take note here. One is you can see that there are ads on this forum. That's interesting because if you do particularly well in this forum, you can also explore paying for ads, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. Look at this. Ad for a car that's talks about the car being dog friendly. That's very smart marketing. So you can see here that this forum has almost 31,000 members. That is very tremendous. At one point there were almost 2,000 people online at the same time. That is also it's incredible. Right now there's 1,300 people active. So this is a very, very busy forum. So without looking at other ones, I would say this is going to be a good one to get involved with because there's so many people. The forum looks like it's spread out pretty far. There's lots of different types of topics. You can see here that look at all this. These are all posts that have been made within like the last hour, and they're getting a lot of views as well. So it's a good thing to take note of. Now let's also talk about other words you can use to find something. Let's dog bulletin board. Okay, spelled that one wrong too. Sometimes this one works, sometimes it doesn't. You can see that it's actually talking about physical bulletin boards. Dog online group. How about that? Okay, doggroups.com. So again, what you can do is just kind of play around. I've found that forum is the most popular way to to find things, but you never know. There could be other things hiding out there. You can even go into one forum that's popular and ask people, do you know of any other popular dog forums? And another thing you can consider is, let's say, for example, that you wanted to get more narrow in your niche and look for something in regards to puppy. Now, the dog forums here has a subsection for puppies, but I wonder if we could also find specific forums that are a bit more narrow, like this one here. This is just for Chaz Hounds. So one thing to look at here is, of course, I'm guessing there's going to be less people because it's a more narrow approach. However, if you had a product specific to this type of dog, you better believe this would be a pretty fantastic place to be promoting yourself. So you want to look at that too. Wow, 24,000 members just about. That's pretty wild. Currently active users 68. That's quite a bit of people. And you also might be seeing that only 25 of those people are members. That's because a lot of these forums can be viewed without being a member. So what these people are called, they're called lurkers. Like I'm doing right now, you can come on here and you don't have to join. You can view all the content, and that's good because a lot of times these individual threads will pop up in the search listings, and people will be checking it out. So we talk about exposure. On one hand, you want to introduce yourself and make a name for yourself to the people that frequent the forum all the time, but also new people as well. You want them to be able to see your information, your products. So now that you understand how to find a couple different forums, in the next video I'm going to talk about a checklist of things that you want to look at each forum to determine which ones you want to be spending your time on. I'll see you in the next video. Forum marketing checklist. Now that you've found a couple different forums that you would like to consider joining and promoting, I want to talk about a checklist that I want you to look at each quality of the forum so you can determine which ones you want to be spending your time on. Okay, the first one you want to ask yourself is, does this forum match your niche? Now, in the last video I found several forums on dogs, and of course if I'm selling a dog training product, that's a good match. But sometimes you're not going to be able to find a match that's specific. You're going to try to find the best that you can do, and the important thing is, are the types of people that are there going to be interested in hearing about your product? Does the forum contain enough members? And people will ask, how many members should the forum have to be considered active? And that's a tough question. I mean, the more the better, the active the better, obviously. But even small forums can be very valuable because oftentimes a small forum that's active, can contain a really tight group of people. And you also have to consider that if you go in there and make a presence for yourself there, you can always hope that people there will tell their friends about you too. So just because it's a small group doesn't mean that it's going to stay that way. So you get in there and establish a reputation with people that are interested in your product, and that's just it's going to be worth your time. Is the forum active? I have been to a couple forums that had a tremendous amount of people. However, they were buzzing 2 years ago, and right now they're practically dead. These things do happen for a number of reasons, but you want to make sure that there are a lot of current posts and a lot of active members on there on a daily basis. Is the forum private? This is something that you want to look at. It's not necessarily a bad thing. If you have to pay money to be in the forum, and you can afford it, if it's going to be a good group of people, then of course it's worth it. But generally speaking, the private forums do have some limitations. Granted, the people there are going to be more serious. However, when a forum is public, you can always hope on lurkers and people that aren't members to also be exposed to your product. So keep that in mind. When you're just starting out, I wouldn't suggest going to the private forum unless you're dealing with something really specific and the niche that you're going after is going to contain a really good group of people to explore, which is what I just talked about as the form of paid membership. Does a form allow signatures that promote products? This is a huge one because a form can be great and contain lots of people eager to hear about your product. However, if the form rules does not allow signatures or does not allow signatures that promote products, then you're going to be out of luck, because I would not suggest spending time on a form that prohibits this, because it's going to make it much more difficult to get the word out about yourself. Let's just take a look at this one here. Let's just pick a thread here that's long. This is a long one, and see if people have signatures. And what a signature is people make a post, and you can see here, here's the actual post, but then at the bottom, signature is a part that's sent in after every post, and it's easy to line on here. This person is advertising a banner service. This person here has a blog, is promoting their their own blog. So you can see here that these people, this person just has a signature that's just a clever saying, or maybe a picture of their dog. So the important thing is that we have definitely identified that this form seems to be okay with having signatures that promote products. So that's good news. That's really good news. So does it meet the other characteristics as well? Well, that's something that you need to take a closer look at. And sometimes it's looked to me like I was going to be okay in a forum, and then I got in there, started to promote, and I got a warning, and they're like, hey, you're doing it a little bit too much. We don't really like people promoting products, even though I saw other people doing it. So keep that in mind, and if that's the case, big deal. Maybe you need to either pull back your approach or move on to a different forum, because there are tons of different options out there. But the point is to kind of take a look and make sure that your forum that you're going to get involved with is going to be a good one. And I also would suggest not putting all your eggs in the same basket. Perhaps start out and build a presence on a couple different forums, and then see which one brings you the most benefit, and then you can dive further in. Signing up for a forum. Okay, so now that you have found a forum that you feel is going to be worth your while, you've put it up against the checklist that I mentioned, it is time to actually go and join. So I'm going to go ahead and pick this one, dogforums.com, because it's the other one I was looking at definitely looked like good stuff, but there's a couple things I really like about this forum. The main being that it is so large in the members, and also things are really roped out, that there's lots of different places that I could be contributing to. So I think it looks good, and also of course that they allow signatures too. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and register. You can see, okay, there it is, register. So go ahead and click on that. Okay, the first thing that this place is going to ask is for me to verify my birthday. This isn't my actual birthday, so don't go sending me any cards. Okay, the forum rules. Now, I would definitely suggest that you check this out, because they might say do not be promoting yourself, other things, because you want to establish a good presence on here. You want to make sure you're following the rules. So I agree. Okay, now it's time to pick a username. Now this is an important thing, because your username ideally is going to be descriptive of what you're going to be representing online. I mean, I don't want to make it too obvious, like for this example, we're going to pretend that I'm a dog trainer. I'm not really, but that's going to be the premise of the rest of these videos. So I don't want it to be something like, I sell dog training videos, because you know what, that's a little bit too in your face. It is available, but we're not going to go with that. So I might, it's not unusual that I wouldn't have dog trainer in my name. Maybe, it could be like my name, whatever my name is, and then dog trainer, be an example. Or even just your name, or perhaps the name of your business. Anything. This is what people are going to know you as, or you can just have it be your nickname. Whatever you want. I don't think it's going to be a huge deal. It's not as important as keywords and SEO and things like that. But I think the important thing is that you have it not be too in your face. and also something that people are going to be able to identify you with, because when you start to post on a regular basis, they're going to see your username and be like, oh, here's another post by such and such. I like that person and I definitely agree with what they say. I'm going to check this post out. So I'm just going to go ahead and make up a name here, and then also come up with a password and an email address. Now, you want to make sure that you use an email address that you're going to be able to check on a regular basis, because whenever you write threads, people might be sending you emails, people might be responding to threads, and if you want to be active and answering people, you want to make sure that you're able to receive notifications from the forum. So I would not, you definitely do not make up an email address and use something that's that you're going to be checking on a regular basis. Maybe it could even be in an email address for your business. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then of course this form here is a captcha too. And now other forms, might be a little bit different. Sometimes they ask for a lot of different settings. I like to, make sure that I have the correct time set, so the time is in the threads and everything. And sometimes there's lots of settings that you can get into if you want. The more information you put about yourself, a picture, it's certainly going to help people feel more comfortable about you, because you're sharing more about yourself. You're not some mysterious type of person. So I definitely suggest taking the time to do that as well, though perhaps you might want to hold off on spending too much time until you get a few posts in there to see how this form really is going to react to you getting in and starting to promote. Okay, I filled that information in. Just another thing here, this is important. Do you want to be able to receive email from administrators and also other members? I think this is a good thing, that again, because you want to facilitate the open communication. I'm just going to go ahead and click on complete registration. And now it says that they sent me an email. I just need to verify that I received it, and then I'll be good to go. This is often a step that the forum will take, because they want to make sure you're a real person. So then just check your email, and if you didn't receive something from them, check your spam box. And if you still haven't, then send them an email and say, hey, listen, I want to join. I didn't receive anything. What's the deal? So that's how you go ahead and sign up for the forum, and I'll see you in the next video. Establishing a presence. Okay, so now that we have an account on the forum, it's time to get in there and start introducing ourselves to the community. You can see here that after I clicked on the link in my email, I was taken to this page, and it says I can now proceed to edit my profile and customize my options, or just kind of get started going into the forums. I click on the profile, and you can see that I received a message, welcome to the dog forums. That's nice. And here's a whole bunch of stuff that you can take the time to kind of get familiar with. You'll find that a lot of forums are ran by the same type of software, so oftentimes things will kind of look the same, which is nice, makes life easier. You can put additional things in here, like for example, if you want people to be able to get a hold of you through IM, it's not a bad idea, especially if you're looking to facilitate relationships. If you do this and you start getting attacked by spammers, then of course you can take it out. But making yourself visible, I don't think is a bad thing. I won't put my phone number in here, but I think an IM handle is certainly okay. I would definitely encourage you to fill these types of things out, details about yourself, a picture of you, things like that, because again, it's going to make you seem more real. So once we're in, let's just go ahead, back out to the main forum, and see if there's a place to introduce yourself, because, okay, here we go. Attention, new members. Post here to introduce yourself to the rest of the members. You have to keep in mind that there are people out there that use software to spam the heck out of forums and just go into promote the product. And the thing is, you really don't want to appear like that. To combat this, what you want to do is come in here and not promote anything at first. Introduce yourself, show that you care about the community, that you care about establishing yourself, and then once you have a few posts under your belt, then you start promoting things in a subtle manner. And we'll talk about all that as we move forward. But what I would do is I would just go in here and see, and it's not a big deal. Let's just take a look at some of these. They're just saying, hey, a brand new owner of, and then they mention their dog, and just talk about some things. Other people are going to say, that's cool, welcome to the forum. All those kinds of things. And then you can also go in and respond to other people too, because this is just going to be an easy way to start interacting with other people and get your post count up. Because what happens also is when people start to see you talking about something that the product that you have, they're going to look, and the first thing they're going to look at is to see how many posts you have. And if you just have one post, you better watch out, because here comes the ban hammer. The more posts you have, that shows that you're not just a one-time wonder. You're actually looking to contribute to the forum, and 9 times out of 10, people are going to be a lot more comfortable with seeing you promote something if you are taking the time to contribute to the forum, because everybody pitches in. So I think that's a great way to introduce yourself. Let's talk about a few other things in regards to establishing a presence. Again, don't start out immediately promoting stuff. We're going to talk about how you can create your signature, but I would hold off on doing that at first. If you want to have a signature that's just something fun, a quote, by all means do that, but I would not start promoting something right out of the gate. Check and see if there's an introduction thread to post to. It's a good place to get started, and it's also a good place to get a few initial posts and to raise your post count without having to put too much time and thought into the posts themselves, because you're just introducing yourself to new members. Provide a few thoughtful comments and some active threads. So let's talk about that. What I would do is no pressure, no big deal. There's especially on this forum here, there's thousands and thousands of threads. It could be something as simple as showing a picture of your dog, just about anything. First time dog owner, basic questions. So I'm just trying to think of this myself. I think these questions would be easier to answer. So let's go ahead and look here, and you can see helping pup through shots. This is somebody that shared some information about going to get a shot done. Talked about what they did to help their puppy do better. And what you could do is just go in here and say, wow, thanks for that advice. I hate taking my dog with the shots, and I look forward to trying this out next time. Thank you for sharing. So there you go. That didn't require too much knowledge, but it was a thoughtful reply to this person. And then, of course, when you're promoting your product, it's going to be right there in the signature. And then as other people view this thread, they're going to see you as the second post. So it's also good to get in, when the getting's good. If you're able to look, and when you'll get better at this as time goes on, if you're able to look and determine threads that you think are really good and are going to get a lot of visibility, a lot of posts. Like look here, this person here, 39 replies, 488 times that this thread's been viewed. If you would have been the second person to comment on this, that would have been a pretty good spot to be, because a lot of people would have been exposed to your post. So those are just some ways to establish a presence. You want to aim to get your post count up to at least 10. That's what I'm going to suggest to you before you start promoting yourself. And we'll talk about what to do when you start to promote yourself in a little bit. But this is all about, right now our mission is to just go out there and not be too pushy, establish a presence in the forum, and introduce ourselves to the members. Finding a product to promote. As we talked about earlier, I'm sure some of you bought this video series with the idea in mind of something specific to promote, but perhaps you have not and you're not sure what you should do. Well, this is what this video is going to be about. Finding a product to promote is a good situation to be in, because say for example that you love dogs, and it makes sense that you want to get into this forum because you have a lot of knowledge on the subject. And this is something important to keep in mind too when you get into forum marketing. If you find a product that's say for example you want to promote a hypnosis product, and you want to promote it because, my gosh, it's like $90 a sale when you sell one. But the thing is, if you don't really know much about it, it's going to be difficult to market in the forums, because the whole point is to appear as an expert on something. Now you might say to yourself, I'm not an expert in anything, and that's baloney. You know a lot about a lot of different things. You just need to look. And for example, if you have a pet, if you have a dog, then guess what? You're an expert, because you've lived the walk, and you know what it's like to have a pet. So it's a good situation to be in. So what I would do is I would find a forum that's on a market that you have interest about, and that you're going to be able to go in and start talking about it, and people are going to get to a point that they appreciate what you have to say. So once you're at that point, you want to go into the market and find out what is the niche hungry for. So for example, if I went into a dog forum and spent some time looking to see what common things do you see? And as you start to introduce yourself and start participating in threads, you'll begin to see some common things present themselves. For example, say there's a lot of threads where people are talking about trying to get their dog to stop barking at night or stop biting, with their teeth. Little, puppies, how they like to chew on things, and including hands and furniture and whatnot. If that's a common problem, that's a good thing to be targeting, because if you're able to find a product that addresses these concerns, then you're going to be able to provide real value to these people, because they're already on the forum saying, I sure wish I had, such and such. Well, guess what? Here it is. Right under in my signature line is the solution to what you've been looking for. You can brainstorm by performing searches and looking at ads. One thing you can do is you can step out of the forum world for a second and go back to good old Google, and just do a search for, let's say, try to think someone that's going to be looking to purchase a dog. What would they type in? Buying a dog. Let's see what comes up here. This isn't the best example, because I'm not really seeing a lot of ads. I was hoping to show you some examples here. See, buying dog food. Okay, here we go. This is a better example. I typed in, say somebody's looking to buy dog food online, and all these ads come up. What these ads will do is they will show us all these people here are trying to compete for people's dollars, and what are the angles that they're coming in at. You can see here nutritional dog food. Vet's #1 choice to feed the dogs. So that shows us that hopefully this person knows what they're doing, and that obviously people love their dogs so much that they want to provide them with good food, so they want the food to be nutritional. So that's an option there. High quality dog food. I know that in the news there's been concern over dog food not being safe for dogs, and hurting dogs and the chemicals in them and such. So to combat that, we're seeing lots of ads for things that talk about high quality dog food, premium puppy food, nutritional dog food, just because they know that the dog owners are concerned about that. So, this gives you an example of how people are working the angles. Let's say dog training books. Do a search for dog training book, and let's see. Here, this person mentions, barking and biting as common issues. Problem behaviors. No more expensive piddle pads. Best dog litter box. These are all ideas, because again, if people are paying to run the ads, the theory at least is that they're doing that because these products are in demand. So it's a good way to kind of get ideas and brainstorm for things that you could be offering as well. Review the ClickBank marketplace. I had showed you this earlier, but ClickBank is a pretty big affiliate program that has a lot of products. The thing is, they're all electronic, which means nothing is through the mail. They're all downloadable, so it's things like software and ebooks and music and things like that. But you can go ahead and click on Marketplace. So let's say, for example, that you're in the dog forum. I'm just going to type in dogs, and you'll see that here's a book on grooming, choosing the best dog for your kids, a book on that. That's a good one. You could take something like this and then promote it on forums where people talk about their kids rather than dogs. Healthy food for dogs, homemade recipes, that's a good one. It just kind of gives you an idea. And just to break it down, this product here retails for $27, it looks like, and when you sell it, you get half of that money. So that means that if somebody buys the $27 product, you get paid $13.33. So that's a pretty sweet deal right there. That's a lot of money. Especially considering that you don't have to ship the book. You don't do anything other than just introduce the person to the book. So here's something on dog training, and of course you can look at more premium products as well. This product here, retails for $40-some, and you can go up a lot more from there. Let me just show you. Hypnosis is one of the big categories here. You can see there you get almost $50 for the sale. That's a lot of money for one sale, especially when all you have to do is make the sale happen. This one here, though, they pay you 70% of the sale, almost $65 there per sale. So interesting stuff. So you can see through that lots of different ideas. You also want to look at, is the product selling well? And this is something that you can find by looking at gravity and ClickBank. Just to give you a real quick lesson on ClickBank, zero gravity means that it's not really being sold, at least at this particular moment. But gravity, anything above, a 2 or a 3 is going to be decent. Then of course, when you start to look at humongous gravity, then you're talking about something that's selling really, really well. Let's look at weight loss here for a second. The gravity. Let's put things in order by gravity so you can see what are the top selling products in the ClickBank marketplace. Truth about abs. Gravity of almost 600. Wow, that's one crazy thing. A lot of people are selling it right now, and that must be because it's popular. It's hot right now. So something to keep in mind. Look at this magic of making up, getting your ex back. Very high gravity. So there's lots of different ideas out there, and you can even go in here first to get an idea and think, wow, I could promote this on a such and such form. You also want to review the history of potential affiliates, and you just want to do whatever you can to understand if it works or not. And one thing you can do is you can look and see if certain products. Is there a refund rate? And there's different tools that you can use to look at those types of things. And looking on forums and saying, are people happy with these types of products? Let's say for example you're going to promote Truth About Abs. We could do a search. Truth About Abs product review. Now of course, a lot of these are going to be people trying to sell it themselves, but you go through and just try to get an idea of the product, because you don't want to spend time promoting something that's lousy, that people don't like, or that has a high refund rate, because you're going to be wasting your time. So you want to make sure that you're selling something that's good, and without actually owning the product, it can be challenging. And one of the best ways is to talk to people that have actually used it. So those are all things that you can do to find a product to promote. Of course, once you get in and establish yourself on the forum, nobody can take that away from you. What you can do is you can try promoting different things, and if you try one thing, it doesn't work out well, you try the next, and maybe it'll work a lot better. So the important thing is to do your best and find something, and then just move forward with the different things that you can try. Creating an effective signature. Now it is time to start promoting yourself. Let's go back to that forum that I joined. And I want to show you how to make a signature. Once you're logged in, there will be somewhere, and if you need help, you can ask someone on the forum for it. If there's a user CP, that stands for control panel, in here there should be a spot to edit signature. There we go. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that, and whatever I put in here is what will appear underneath whatever I post every time I post. So for example, I just wanted to say I love dogs. Here we go. Save signature or preview signature, and you can see there it is, and of course my post would be above it. So what goes into making an effective signature, and also how do you make the signature look differently? Say you want it to be bold, or you want it to link to something. What'll happen is, let's see, I just bolded it and I have it linking to Google. So let's preview it. Okay, you can see there now it's clickable. What will happen is, oftentimes the forum will have little buttons for you to, you can just put your text in, and then you can bold things, or you can make it underline, or you can center it, you can change the size. Now here's the thing though, forum will have specific rules, and it might be like you can things that are limited to one color, or everything has to be black, or everything has to be the same size, or you can't have it be more than 5 lines or 2 lines. There's definitely going to be a line limit. What you want to do is make sure that you read the specific signature guidelines before you start doing it yourself. Sometimes they allow images in your signature, which means you can have a banner promoting your product. Different types of things that you can do. The first thing you need to do is make sure that you understand what the rules are, and then you can go out there and start doing it. So some things to keep in mind, and also in the book that came along with this, you can find some information on the bulletin board code, which is what most forums use. So in other words, it gives some examples of signatures and how to write them. to have things underlined. But the thing is, depending on the form that you're in, it may or may not work because different forms use different types of code. But the bulletin board is the most universal, so it's the best one to try, at least initially. So things to keep in mind with creating a signature. You want to, again, make sure that you review the current form specific guidelines, because if you don't, people don't like that. You want to add credibility whenever possible. So, for example, if you are selling a product that's about dog training, I wouldn't just write something like, click here for the best dog training guide ever. I would add credibility, as much as you can. So you could write something like, I'm an experienced dog trainer. I've been working with dogs for X amount of years, and I just released this guide that I think is really helpful with dog training. So there, when people see your signature, they're not just seeing an ad; they're seeing that there's credibility there as well, because you actually do this stuff, and therefore hopefully they can trust you. You don't want to be too pushy or salesy. People don't like that, especially when you're just starting out. You want to be careful, because it's one thing to offer your services, but if you're just there to promote, people can sniff that out. Now, even though you might be saying to yourself, well, yeah, that's why I bought this video series, because I want to make money on forums. Of course, me too. But you want to make sure that it goes hand in hand with providing value to the forums, and what that means is not being too pushy, and of course having a signature, but not having it be too over the top. Don't make super crazy claims like your dog will never misbehave again. Get this, because people, I think that especially on forums, people react to that as it's too strong. So again, I hope that you'll check the book, because that's where I have further information about bulletin board code and just some examples of signatures that you can go ahead and use to promote your things, kind of a starting point for you. But of course, you'll want to create your own and test them to see what works the best. Establishing yourself as an expert. Okay, so I've been mentioning this a lot, and of course now you've joined the forum. So how do you go from being a newbie, someone that just joined and is wet behind the ears, to someone that is seen as an expert that somebody trusts? Because believe me, this is the best situation to be in if you want to be promoting your product successfully. Becoming an expert, involves answering niche-specific questions whenever possible. Say for example that you join a dog training forum and your book is more specifically about dog behavior. I would keep a close watch on the forum for whenever people ask questions, because it's going to give you a golden opportunity to go out there and answer the questions. Say somebody says, help, I can't get my dog to stop barking at night. Go in there and say, hey, you know what, this is what I did, and it got my dog to, it significantly helped with the problem. And what's going to happen is people will see that and say, wow, you know what, this dog trainer really does know their stuff. Oh, hey, look, they also have a book. And, if they grow to trust you and find that you're helpful, then, they're going to look at what you have to offer as well. You also want to post frequently and consistently. I'm more a fan of doing things over time than going in and doing 50 posts today and none for the next 2 weeks, because people like to see that you're going to be more actively on an ongoing basis. Plus, it's going to give you a chance to introduce. Maybe someone will see you the first time and they'll think, okay, but then the third time they'll think, wow, you know what, that's 3 questions now that I saw answered by this guy, and he knows what he's talking about. I'm going to check his product out. You also want to publish original threads offering helpful advice. It's one thing to kind of jump in and answer people's questions, but another good thing to practice is to create content and then just post it. And also in the thread, ask people questions so they will post onto you as well, because what will happen then is, if you have a thread that has a lot of back and forth, it's going to provide even more exposure to what you're talking about. So you want to make sure that you're doing that, you're engaging the community in the back and forth, and the more that your threads get bumped up at the top, because what happens is, you post a thread. Let's just go ahead and look here. And many of you, I'm sure already know how this works, but just humor me for a second here. We're in the dog forum, and let's say that you post a question, and then somebody else posts a question. Well, theirs gets placed over top yours. Your question gets slowly put down here, but every time someone else responds to your question, it gets put back up at the top, which is a lot more exposure for you. So, somebody responds to you, you respond back to them, and back and forth. And, the more times that your thread gets bumped up here to the top, the more exposure it's going to get. And now just imagine that, there's 5 threads on this first page that are getting a lot of activity, and you've contributed to all of them. That's a lot of exposure for you. You want to establish relationships with other high posters. Go in there, and the more that you learn about the forum, you'll begin to see that there are some people on there that are king of the hill. They're highly regarded, and you go in there, and they see you engaged in conversations and threads that they're in as well. They're going to begin to take note of you, and this will kind of get you in, with people that are very involved. And believe me, that's a good place to be, because then you can start. You can email them, send them a private message. Let me show you an example of that. Because of course, one thing is that people typically don't put their email addresses in here, but you can private message people. So let's say, for example, that this person here is someone that you respect, and you say, hey, listen, I'm going to introduce myself to them. Just go ahead and click on this, and you can send them a private message. And what will happen is they'll get that message through the forum. And what you can do is you start to find people that you think are in good positions on the forum, that are dedicated members. You can just introduce yourself and say, hey, listen, I saw that you talked about such and such in the thread. I also blah blah blah. And introducing yourself in that way will create a relationship with them. You can continue through this, and you never know where these types of relationships will lead. But the point is to go out there, and you're not just some nameless person. You're someone that's making an effort to interact with the people. These are people that can help you with your presence. So keep that in mind. These all things go into becoming an expert.